What's to do, YouTube? It's HOLYONE, and this is going to be my review for Horizon Forbidden West, which I played for 30 hours on normal difficulty. So let's start off with the most important thing to any game, and that is gameplay, and has it improved upon this second game compared to Horizon Zero Dawn. So straight off the bat, they've added a new arsenal of attacks like a harpoon, explosive sphere, which is pretty cool, and they've also added an array of other new weapons to the weapon wheel. When it comes to some of the climbing mechanics that people have been complaining about, I literally had no issue with that by just using my radar, which scans the area for any climbing areas, just like I did in the first game, so that was not an issue for me. Overall, the gameplay is pretty similar, as you'd expect, with some improvements here and there with the weapons. They've also added 20 new machines, which is pretty awesome, with different abilities, different environments, different attacks, different elements that you have to pierce through as you scan them. So that adds a lot more to the gameplay and fluidity, and it's awesome to hack one of the giant mammoths to fight one of the giant war machines and having them go at each other. So overall, the gameplay has definitely been improved. So if I were to give the first game an 8 for gameplay, I'd give this one like an 8.5 or a 9, so they definitely improved quite a bit on that. Now, when it comes to performance and graphics, that's a lot of what people have been talking about, since this is technically a PS5 built from the ground up game that they've been spouting. Overall, the loading screens were so fast that Guerrilla Games had to literally put a loading screen in the game, which wasn't necessary, so the SSD is definitely getting its work cut out for it. It's just instant loading, as you guys can see on the screen. It's just so fast, fluid, and as Digital Foundry stated, the game compared to PS4 is like playing PC's ultra quality preset with a lot of so much detail, so much attention to detail that they've reworked so much, like every little nook and cranny has been crafted. So the game overall looks much better graphically compared to the first game. And overall, the biggest quality of life to Horizon Forbidden West is the water. It looks way better than the first game. There's a lot you can explore diving down into the water, and they finally added a flying mechanic, which they said was held back on the PS4, and you can finally fly around the world and explore it. Pretty much mid to post game, you unlock that feature. Overall, if you guys are wondering what the frame rate resolution is, if you buy the PS5 version, it runs at native 4K 30, or you can, but that version, the frame rate is horrendous. It just doesn't feel good to play. I played it at the checkerboard 1800p 60, and I loved it, and it looked fine. So playing it at 60 really felt great because it's technically a third-person action game, which should be played at 60 frames. Now, moving on to the story, I know there's been mixed reviews. There's been a couple mixed reviews. Is the story better? So personally, I'd say the first game has a better story, only because the middle of this game, the story is like non-existent, and the so-called enemies, the Zeniths from that are the main protagonists, I'll keep it spoiler-free, aren't really villain material, so there wasn't one really big bad guy. There were certain parts where you're like, wow, this is awesome, but overall, I'd say the first game's story was better overall. But still a good story, and they definitely are leaving you on a cliffhanger for Horizon 3, whatever that will be coming out for. Now, let's talk about the world of Forbidden West. It's very large. I know there's a lot of people who bitch and complain about, oh, there's so many things on the map, there's so many little icons, I want it to be like Elden Ring, yada, yada, yada. Go in the options and turn that off, and then explore it like Elden Ring if you want to do that. There is an option to turn off all those icons if you so desire. But either way, they're two separate games. It's not a point to compare either one of them. But there is a ton to do in this game, and you can easily sink over 100 hours in this game. Now, I know a lot of people will say the first game had so many different unique areas, and true, there were a lot of like sub-areas, but most of those were pretty barren, and you gotta remember, this game has 20 more new machines, so there can be quite a bit more going on in this game compared to Horizon Zero Dawn. But that's just my opinion. I feel like there's a lot more going on in this game, but you could say the first game has a much more linear and followable story, whereas this game kind of has its own thing going on. Now, when it comes to side quests, they're significantly better in this game compared to Horizon Zero Dawn. You actually can interact with the characters without them looking zoomed in, weird faced. There's actually like a third person view to the side quests. And these side quests are pretty good. They have a lot of dialogue you might want to listen to. You get some more items from these quests. There's just a lot you could do with these side quests, and each side quest has like some unique characters, and there's some pretty good character designs on each of the characters, especially like the African Americans actually look like African Americans, not some stranded random looking dude NPC that you zoom in on. There's definitely a lot of attention to detail on all the character models, so they definitely know how to. Gorilla definitely knows how to make a very pretty game. Most of the side quests you could do like hunts, the normal hunts from the first game where you can level up your character, unlock, and they got a new mechanic where if you're at the base, you can unlock new machines to hack by doing these hunting trials. So there's actually something worthwhile doing these hunting trials. And you got the typical, hunt this item, save this person, sign that sort of thing. But I never felt disappointed doing these side quests. I felt like the first game I would just be like, screw it, I'm going to skip most of these, maybe do a couple of them. But this game actually wants me to play the side quests and actually complete them, which the first game really didn't get across to me much. As for the story characters, there's not much to go on there. They finally added a way to upgrade your character and store your items in a stash compared to the first game, which you couldn't really do because, you had to do everything from a sub-menu, which was kind of I didn't really find it annoying, but some people did, where they're like, oh, there's too many menus. They cut the menus down by like half, and yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do. So overall, this game is fantastic. If you own a PS5, I'd say pick it up, and if you got a PS4, you can always upgrade it for free. Or I think, yeah, you can upgrade it for free. I don't think Sony's charging $10 for it, but overall, a fantastic open world game. I know some people compare it to Assassin's Creed, but I'd say it's definitely better than most Assassin's Creed games because I haven't played any Assassin's Creed since Black Flag. So, yeah, this is definitely a banger from PlayStation. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This is your boy HOLYONE. Out!